Thanks for staying with us right here on Sunrise as we continue this morning. Now, in the age of information technology, where we have so much access to information that can make us believe that we're informed, only to find that we're just full of knowledge that is not able to transform our lives. Now, Robin Wheeler, the author of a book series called Insights, Being Yourself for a Living, joins us this morning to unpack why we need insights, more than knowledge, to make our lives interesting and more exciting, of course, and a living while we at it. Good morning to you, Robin, and thanks, ma'am, for joining us right on Sunrise.
Lovely to be here. Morning, Penny.
Great stuff. So now, all these books that are laid on the table here speak about some of the insights that you get to give. So just kick off our conversation. What is the difference between insight and knowledge?
I think it's a definitive difference. Knowledge comes from the outside, and it's in the head, and it's kind of a social thing. Insight comes from within, and it's your intelligence, and it's your own uniqueness that you bring to bear in the world. So your insight is actually the application of your talents, it's your value add to the world, and it's where you get your personal fulfillment from. So I'm shifting people's awareness from knowledge, which is what you taught at school and university, to insight, which is from within you.
Okay, so whether we're young people or people of mature age, when you're told that just be yourself, it just sounds like a complex, abstract thing. That what do you mean? I'm already myself. How does that work?
It's a bit of a paradox, because on the one hand, being yourself is the simplest, most straightforward thing. I mean, a child is naturally themselves. They don't have any of the complexities yet. But on the other hand, it's the most challenging thing to actually achieve in life, because as you grow up, you become full of knowledge. You become conditioned into a certain way of being, which removes you from yourself. So to actually get back in touch with who you are and be creative and be enterprising and to know how to be in the moment and just be yourself is one of the biggest challenges that we all face.
What inspired you to start with the series of the books? I mean, the book Inside, the first one, it came out, and then all these others are followed. What was the first inspiration?
Well, I studied psychology, and then I worked in corporate human resources. So I kind of knew about people and myself, and then I knew about work and performance. And then I had this epiphany 22 years ago now, that I needed to go out and do my ideal thing and live my purpose through what I did for a living. So I set out in '96 to do that. And then as I went along, I started writing. And then in 2007, I stumbled upon this insights idea of writing these short, easy to read insights that they're deep and profound, but they're accessible to the modern lifestyle with a very busy lifestyle. And once I stumbled upon that, it was just a format that worked so well for me that I've got the 6 insights books out now and another 12 written. So
already
it works
written.
For me.
Okay, how do I be myself for a living?
Well, I sort of think of it like a continuum. If you think on the one side, say, if somebody's not being themselves, they've given up who they are, they're fitting in, they're doing a job they hate. So to kind of start moving away from that would be to look at what you love, what you enjoy, what you give people, what the world needs, and start to do what you love, basically. But then as you travel that journey, you start to become more and more yourself. You're going to ask yourself, who am I actually? So you go on that spiritual quest of finding out who you are. And ultimately you come to a place where you are in the moment. For me, that's the simplest way to be yourself, is to be present, to be spontaneous, to trust your own intelligence, and then to explore all of your talents so that you find out who you are and you create who you are. And that journey brings you more and more into being yourself for a living. Okay,
you're a psychologist, and we're all naturally intuitive, but not all of us understand or have the ability to acknowledge that we are intuitive.
Yes.
And we can pay attention to who we are and trust who we are and what we say, but we're always looking for affirmations outside of ourselves. But what's the simplest way of saying, this is how I can start and just be me? And what happens when I don't get accepted, when I get rejected? How do I deal with that?
Well, firstly, that making time for yourself, spending time in solitude, tuning into your feelings, getting back in touch with that intuition. It's within us, but we've just lost touch with it. So making time to be with yourself, becoming comfortable with aloneness, because it's from that aloneness that you can then connect. That's the one thing. The second thing is, when you set out to be yourself for a living, you're inherently a rebel. That's a very you're a change agent. So you get a lot of resistance from people, often people close to you or people that you work with. So part of that is to deal with that resistance. And an entrepreneur is also somebody who deals with resistance and makes it work for you. So that's very much part of it.
Okay, so it's a series of books, and the latest one is Bigger Insight.
Yes.
But I'd like you to talk to, I mean, you look at just the challenges that our country is facing. We have a lot of young people coming out of universities, no degrees. People have grand ideas, and they really think their ideas could actually change the world, and they want to do things. But they're really just feeling that it's not working.
Yes.
You know, I've gone to school, I've learned everything I know, I've applied everything that I've been told. Is knowledge failing me? What's happening to me?
I think everything's failing us. All of the old structures are failing us. University doesn't guarantee you anything these days. Nothing that you taught does. So we're moving into an age where instead of fitting in and working to an industrial model where you just absorbed what they told you and then applied it, you now have to invent your ideal business and career based on who you are. So you have to become a visionary wherever you are. And the end of the old, it seems like a crisis, but it's actually the beginning of the new.
It's a shift of energy of some sort.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it can be very challenging. So you've got to learn how to make those challenges work for you and start again, as we said, trusting who you are and implementing those things. And if you're being true to yourself, you'll be able to stick to it. And that's what we need.
Okay, so your latest book, what is it all about?
Well, as I said, I mean, they're 18 written, and the latest one was written 15th. So it's quite a recent one. It was written a year ago. So it's very current. It's about these exact issues you've been asking about. It's quite hard-hitting. It challenges a lot of the structures that people are coming up against. And then it says, well, this is how you might be going through hardship, but these are the ways to go forward with it, you know. So it's always very personal for me. I share from my own. I write sort of all the time, daily, whenever I've got moments, and I'm speaking to that in people, and I'm speaking to the higher awareness that it's almost like I channel the insights. They come through me, and it connects with that in other people and awakens it in them.
Okay. Well, we can go on and on and on.
We could. There's lots.
We're going to have to leave it there because some of the books are available, as you can see, of course, I've been displayed here this morning. For more information, you can go to beingentrepreneuring.com. That was transformational specialist and international speaker and innovator, author Robin Will, of course, taking us on a deeper insight so you can achieve bigger insights by being yourself for a living. And as I've said, for more info, make sure you go to that website. And hey, who knows? You could just become what you're meant to be. We're back with more right here on Sunrise.